Ladies and gentlemen, today is officially the beginning of a new 47-day operation within Call of Duty Black Ops 4. This event is called Operation Apocalypse Z Survivors. They might as well have just called it Operation Apocalypse Z Part 2, and in fact, I don't even fully understand why they split this into two operations. The first one was a 40-tier contraband stream. The second was a 60, so why didn't they just make the entire thing Operation Apocalypse Z and have it 100 tiers? I don't know, but that's what we are looking at today. And what I thought I would do is make a video breaking down everything new within Operation Apocalypse Z Survivors. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of new modes in multiplayer, zombies, and on top of that, Blackout. The Blackout is probably my personal favorite part. We're going to talking about all of those new things. And of course, we already made a video today talking about the black market, but I will touch on that as well in this video. So to start things out, I thought we would dive into multiplayer and first of all talk about the new featured playlist. So to start things off, we've got a new playlist called Infected Final Stand, which we'll talk a little bit more in depth about in a minute. But we also have Mercenary Deathmatch Mosh Pit, Endurance Chaos Mosh Pit, Bolt Action Bare Bones Mosh Pit, and Bare Bones Mosh Pits. In other words, a lot of different mosh pits. But the new one here is Infected Final Stand. So this takes the normal Infected that we know and love and kind of turns it on its head, as it's kind of a mix between Team Deathmatch, Control, and Infected. So instead of playing free-for-all, there are two teams. There's Survivors and the Infected. Each of them has a set amount of lives. The Survivors have 1 life. The Infected have, I guess, 26 lives total. Their original lives plus 20 others. As the Infected, your job is to kill every one of the Survivors before the time ends. As the Survivors, your job is to stay alive. Now, as the Infected, the only really piece of help that you get is a combat axe, and that's pretty effective, but in this game mode, the Survivors are actually able to revive their teammates. Problem is they have to stand still, and that makes them very easy to hit with the tomahawk. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I actually think this game mode works a little bit better than normal Infected in this game, simply because you're on a team, it spawns you closer to the enemies without having a tactical insertion, because it spawns you close to your team. That way, if you have at least a somewhat decent team, you will be spawning close to the Survivors. Now, when I first played this game mode, I kind of thought it was a little unfair that the Survivors simply won every time. But the more I played, I figured out you have to have a good team. If you have a good team of zombies, they'll all kind of rush in all at once, and that'll overwhelm the Survivors. But I still think it's much harder to win as the Infected than it is as the Survivors. But that being said, I think it's a pretty balanced game and a lot of fun. By far, this is one of my favorite game modes that they've added into Black Ops 4 so far. Now, there are two other things added into multiplayer with this update. They include the M16, which is a burst action assault rifle, and on top of that, the Hevellian AA-50, which is a bolt action sniper rifle. I was actually lucky enough to get the Hevellian, but don't have the M16 yet, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to actually play with the sniper, but I heard that the M16 was pretty damn good. Now, the other thing that they changed, and this is really the only other change to multiplayer with this update, is they nerfed the Stingray. The S6 Stingray got a massive nerf specifically to its operator mod. So with its operator mod, it reduced the 2-hit kill range from 32 meters to 22 meters. It also slightly reduced the explosive damage and slowed the fire rate. This is a massive nerf. I haven't got a chance to use this thing yet with the operator mod after the nerf, but I'm guessing it is drastically worse than it was before, which absolutely needed to be done because that thing was ridiculous. Now it's going to be a lot more balanced, but I'll have to try it out to see whether it's underpowered or not now. Now, moving on to Blackout, I think Blackout probably got the most updates out of this operation, but as far as the featured playlists go, we've got a new one that is Pandemic, Quads, Duos, Solos, and Alcatraz Portal Quad. So going back once again to the original Alcatraz, which I am very happy about. But as far as Pandemic goes, this is a really cool game mode that they implemented today. It's a little bit buggy as of right now. It's crashing a lot, but I'm assuming over the next day or two, they'll fix that. But as far as Pandemic goes, this is an awesome game mode. When you spawn in with 80 players in Blackout. That's definitely needed. If it was 100, this would be way too crazy. But when you spawn in, you get 1 life. If you get killed, even if you're on a team of quads, you turn into a zombie. Zombies are actually able to see the normal survivor players highlighted on the map, and your job is to chase them down and kill them. And by the time you get to the final circle, you then get a 60-second countdown to kill the survivors as the zombies. This is absolutely nuts. It's hard to stay alive, and you just kind of got to keep moving and trying to shoot the zombies. And in this game mode, you get a lot of kills. I think in this gameplay you're watching here, I get 16, and I would say 15 of the 16 were probably on zombies. Honestly, it's a pretty damn good mode to get merits if you're just trying to grind and level up through Blackout. But like I said before, it's a lot of fun, super hectic, and there's also some more updates to Blackout as well. So first of all, they kind of aesthetically updated the normal map. So this is in quads, duos, and solos. You're going to notice here that it actually appears to be a little less vibrant, a little bit darker. However, there is less fog, and on top of that, the water is no longer that dark red. It's kind of actually started to get more of a black tinge, and the red is kind of gathered around the edges or shore of the water. But I think the biggest difference is definitely less fog, so it's easier to see at long distances. Now, gameplay-wise, there's some pretty big changes. So first of all, the Ray Gun Mark II now has 3 other variants that can potentially drop in mystery boxes. I haven't got any of them, but apparently they are very, very powerful. Now, also, if you want one of these Mark II weapons, all you got to do is look for the green shining light in the air, not the red, not the blue, the green, and that's where these specialty mystery boxes are going to drop for you. Now, on top of that, there is new wall buy weapons in the zombies locations throughout the map. And finally, this is the most interesting one to me. They reduced the number of rockets required to destroy vehicles. So now rockets will be much more effective against helicopters, cars, that kind of thing. And I'm interested to actually giving this a try to see if they're actually a viable thing to carry around, especially in like quads modes. And then the final thing, this is the biggest one to me, is Easter eggs. Zombies related Easter eggs have been added on both the normal map and Alcatraz. And as of right now, as making this video, I have not seen any of them. Not on Reddit, not on YouTube. So if you find anything related to them, feel free to send it to me on Twitter. That'll be linked down in the description. But aside from that, that has been the Blackout update. Now, moving on to the black market, there's a pretty substantial update here. First of all, starting in Blackjack Shop, there's $55 worth of new content in here, starting off with a new reactive camo called Gray Matter. After that, you have the new skin for Reaper, a new Mastercraft variant for the Rampart that I really like, but once again is really expensive. And if you want to buy all of these, it's going to cost you around $55. After that, the new Contraband stream is 47 days long and 60 tiers. The most notable items are at tier 15, you're going to get the Chef skin for Ajax. At tier 30, you are going to get the Spinal Tap reactive camo. At tier 45, you are going to get the Crop Duster skin for Battery. And at tier 60, you are going to get a weapon brab. The rest is kind of filler, stickers, face paints, and as well as reserve cases as well. Speaking of reserves, there's also a ton of new items added in reserves, as you are seeing on screen here, including the 2 new weapons that we talked about, the M16 and the Hevellian AA50. So all in all of the items in the reserves add up to 193 more items within the game, which if you do a little bit of math and you're only opening duplicate protected cases, you are going to need a total of 65 cases opened, aka this is going to equal about 386 reserves saved up to get every single item. And that's assuming you've already got all of the previous items that are in reserves as well. But that's just a brief overview of the black market. If you want a more in-depth look, I uploaded a video earlier today, which will be linked on the screen in a card, or you can check it out down in the description. Now, there are 2 other things that are going to be added throughout this event to the black market. They include Ted, who is the bus driver from Transit. He is going to be a Blackout character. And the second of which is the stop sign melee weapon. I'm not sure how this one's going to be added. I'm assuming they're both going to be added via special orders, but we'll have to wait and see. Then finally, moving on to zombies, the last thing we have to talk about is the new gauntlet, which is the Alpha Omega Gauntlet. Really, I don't have much to say about this one. I'm not really a big zombies player, but I'm glad that they are still adding these in. Of course, it's not factions like everyone's wanted forever, but let's be honest, at this point, we are probably not getting that. So ladies and gentlemen, that is everything in Operation Apocalypse Z Survivors. I know it's kind of a lame name, but I really do like the new infected mode in multiplayer. Pandemic is good when it's working, and assumably over the next couple of days, it'll start to work more and more. Pretty much whenever they implement a new Blackout mode, it's kind of broken at the start, but then they figure it out. And I really like that stuff, but once again, it does get overshadowed by that black market and all of those ridiculous microtransactions inside of it. This is nothing new, and that's why I haven't really talked about it more in this update, is because at this point, let's be honest, we're used to it. And all you can do to counteract that is not go spending your money on it. As soon as you spend your money on it, you're kind of enforcing that behavior that Treyarch and Activision are doing. And me, personally, I don't condone it, so I'm not buying any of that stuff. But I talked about that in today's earlier video. So as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video and found it informative, I'd love it if you could hit that like button. On top of that, if you're new to the channel and want to stay up to date on everything Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare, or anything Call of Duty, make sure you subscribe, make sure you have notifications turned on, and as always, let me know what you think of the video down in the comments below. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, guys, peace out.